Hi, Lenore again. I wanted to talk to you about the retained earnings. So, quite a few students asked me or mentioned that I didn't ask for a statement of retained earnings. And you're correct, I did not ask for it. Actually, by doing the 3 closing entries, it resembles a statement of owner's equity. So, what do I mean by that? Let's work here with the retained earnings. There is no retained earnings listed here, so we put in a 0. In this first closing entry, we have a credit to retained earnings. So I'm going to put that on the credit side. In the second, or journal entry, closing journal entries, we have a debit. So I'm going to put that debit in there. And in the third, we also have another debit. So I have a 0 beginning balance, 2 numbers that make up the income statement, right? Total revenue less total expenses, revenue less expenses, and then a dividend amount. And that dividend amount is lowering the revenue. So let's foot this account. We're going to start with 0, add closing journal entry number 1, subtract closing journal entry number 2, and subtract the dividends or closing entry number 3. So our ending balance for retained earnings, which is more or less the revised retained earnings, is $10,700. I want to emphasize this because we're going to need this number in order to balance our balance sheet. We're going to need this particular number right here. So to move with that, to get started with our balance sheet, we've already done our income statement. We've done our closing entries. I've got the new retained earnings number. I'm going to clear this out right here. Well, I did something wrong, didn't I? Let's see if I can just delete this. Yeah, let's move things over. Okay, for some reason, I don't have 100% proficiency in this new technology. So let's create a balance sheet. Put in my line. So first things first, we always need the company name, what type of report it is, and the date. I'm going to paste that in right here. I'm going to change unadjusted trial balance to balance sheet. First thing we're going to do is list all these assets. Now, please be aware, accumulated depreciation is indeed an asset. It's contra asset, but an asset. So let's write assets here. I'm going to take all these, put them here, take out those lines. And now I'm going to move, I'm going to move those dollar amounts over. So we take it directly from the adjusted trial balance. Cash, accounts receivable, prepaid insurance. The difference is accumulated depreciation. Because it is a contra asset, we need to show that it is reducing the balance. So here we have total assets. Oops. Gonna pop in a total right here. Sum it up. So 29,500 is our total asset. Total assets. Now we're going to work with our liabilities. We have 2 of them. Remember, we have unearned consulting and income tax. So we're going to pop those in. Again, I'm going to remove those lines. And we take it directly off the adjusted trial balance. It's pretty much just a copy paste. So now we have total liabilities. All right, and we get a total. We don't use the double underline here because it's not the final total. So we'll add these two together like so. Those are our total liabilities. Now we're going to put together our stockholders' equity. So we have common stock. Put that right here. And we have retained earnings. Remember, we just calculated that using the T account. Let me get rid of those lines. Line them up a little bit better. Okay, so the common stock, boom, right there. And we just calculated our retained earnings in that T account. I'm going to show you how we calculated it one more time. So remember, first there was 0, right, for no beginning balance. Then we added our revenue, remember, from closing journal entry number 1. And then we subtracted our expenses, which, oh, I should probably put some parentheses around this, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, so this shows 0 balance plus our revenue, less our expenses, and finally less our dividends. So the retained earnings that we calculated just a moment ago in our T account is reflected right here. So now we have total stockholders' equity. And I don't know why that's doing that craziness. Here we go. Let's put in some lines. We're going to sum it so that it's these two dollar amounts. So now we have total assets, we have liabilities and equity. What we need, what the final step is, total liabilities. And let me put that below here so you know, stockholders' equity. So we have to add the two together or our balance sheet is not complete. So here we go, total liabilities plus total stockholders' equity, 29,500, 29,500. So the idea is always to make these two balance. And these two items, let's put it in blue. These two items are important for our balance sheet in addition to it equals or it's the same as our accounting equation. Assets equal liabilities plus stockholders' equity. There you go. That's how to do a balance sheet. With that said, I end this podcast.